I'm Noelle, and this is Grant, and we just left our home with our 2 dogs to sail south. We were prepared as we were going to be, and confident in the full keel underneath us. She was ready. Thanks for watching our new life, the highs and the lows as we navigate these waters. I feel like we freaking made it. Got a different source of transportation this weekend, thanks to Becca and Daniel.
We're going so fast.
We've been in San Diego for almost a week now and getting lots of projects done, including a new sheet for our main sail, 7/16 double braid, so that now it will fit properly in the winch. We used to have 1/2 inch 3-strand, but it kept spiraling around itself and it was stiff and didn't want to stay in the winch. I'm also adjusting to cruising life. I bought some day passes at the Coronado Community Center so that I could enjoy a hot shower and also get a workout in. My back is finally starting to feel back to its normal self. And then there's always the intermittent relaxing in between projects. I enjoy my Paperwhite Kindle, which I've learned I can check out novels digitally from my hometown library for free. And then I finally got a surf in, my first surf since Coho, our first anchorage nearly a month ago. Not the best waves, but I take what I can get, and it's fun to just hop in the water. Turns out though, I left my wetsuit there overnight. Frightened the next day that it might have gotten stolen, I walked quickly back to retrieve it. Let's go, guys. Let's see, I came down these stairs. Gotta be somewhere. Oh! Well, got my wetsuit. Having a car in San Diego, thanks to my college bestie, Becca, we were able to fuel up the jerry cans at a gas station. What normally would cost $7.85 per gallon from the docks here cost us $5.50 a gallon at the gas stations up the street, because we were able to drive around. Overall, we saved $2 per gallon, which saved us approximately $105.75. That's a lot of tacos in Mexico. Bye, San Diego! We are on our way to Baja, about a couple hours away from Coronado Islands. We got full sails and going about 2 knots, but there's very little wind and we're kind of beating upwind right now, but we'll get there soon.
Man, it's just the wrong direction on the road.
Another project we did in San Diego was to plumb the dog's pee pad, which is normally intended for decks and patios for houses, but for our deck it works perfectly, and now the dog urine drains off the boat. It's time! Oh, fighting some seasickness today. I haven't been sailing in a week, so I find that if I take more than like 3 or 4 days off sailing, I can easily get seasick the first day back. But I'm not going to let that ruin my excitement to cross into Mexican waters, which we're about to do any minute now. Our #1 rule while sailing is no drinking underway. However, when crossing into different countries, we will make an exception. But actually we're going to pour it out to the side, but it's still exciting. Grant's finishing up the water maker, and then we're going to go and hoist the Mexican flag. We're going to be in Mexican waters!
I gotta go try to knot something.
Okay.
Doing it.
Hoist her up!
Here we are in Mexico.
We made it! Aquí en México. Estamos en México. Woo!
little weird tide, kind of tide interval swell, but hopefully we'll get a little wind in a second. Crossing into Mexico.
Been a dream for a really long time.
Here's one for Poseidon in Baja.
Woo! You! Okay, we did it!
Love you.
Love you.
Make your dreams come true.
Woo! Woo!
We don't drink at sail, but this is
Estamos en Baja! I already told the camera we don't.
It's crazy that we've finally made it. This was the dream, was to go sailing in Mexico and not know exactly what we're doing with that other than enjoying living. We've had a lot of fun just cruising down the coast, but more fun's to be had, more trials and tribulations, more friends, more tacos. Definitely way more tacos. So we're just about near the Coronado Islands. You can see Tijuana right there. It's always crazy to me how much infrastructure there is. Big buildings and stuff. Coronado Islands. Wish there was a touch more wind, but it's predicted to show up a little bit later. We're headed to Baja Naval to check in Ensenada, meet up with our friends on Rocca, Bo and Cariana, and see Nick and Tracy on Pacific Rim. Maybe we'll catch a fish. Flying the spinnaker because it's light wind. Probably flying it more like a Genoa. Probably need to trim it a little bit. But you can see I've got my DIY tacker.
Grant made a tacker by taking a scrap 4-inch irrigation PVC, cut it to 12 inches in length, cut it lengthwise, and cut the rough shape like a U on both sides, heating on both sides and using an oven mitt to shape it. He flared the edges with a heat gun and rounded it over my metal water bottle so it wouldn't catch on the furled headstay. He made a slit on each side and put a piece of webbing on each side for the attachment point. 20 minutes of his time, $5 in material, compared to what normally would cost about $280 plus tax and shipping.
Hey Noel! What's going on? We have a lot of weather, Helm?
Yeah.
What the
I just woke up from my shift for sleeping and now I'm on watch, even though I think Grant will be up here too, but it has been a long night. Definitely not the best passage we've had. The sea state is just really uncomfortable. I've been kind of seasick like all day and night, but that's okay because there is Ensenada. Dogs see it Now, before you think I've completely lost my mind, this was after 12 hours of fighting seasickness. We've been lucky in that neither one of us has gotten seasick the entire month of cruising so far, except for this moment. Grant was telling me all morning to look at the horizon, which I know is a common technique, but it wasn't really working.
Amber, are you concerned?
Looking at the horizon! I didn't want to take Dramamine and figured it was too late at this point. So for the next hour on Mundial, you're going to see all sorts of techniques that I thought would help with seasickness.
Blinding myself, but looking at the horizon nonetheless. I think I'm gonna throw up. This isn't working. Just get rid of the vehicle.
They watched the Titanic.
Yeah. I was wondering what those orange things were sitting off the cruise ship.
What's pretty wild.
Okay, veer to starboard, just a couple inches.
And then, of course, as we are prepping to dock, I drop a fender off the boat.
Man, this is gonna be hard.
Caught behind Venetian blinds, out of reach for the city lights. This ain't where I belong.
Yes, I got it. I got it.
Hey, look at me, man, what I've become.
Oh my god, good job. Okay.
I've been
Fighting seasickness for the last 12 hours and pretty exhausted from being on night watch from 3 a.m. to now, it's hard to remain positive and hard not to make mistakes. But all we can do is try our best and have patience with one another.
gone, sitting in my pocket, in plain sight, all alone.
Landing in Ensenada was just the lift our spirits needed after a long passage and seasickness. Hola. Buenos días.
The Tequila Express.
This city is stunning, with art and music everywhere, vibrant markets with all sorts of seafood and traditional Mexican cuisine, as well as a mix of tourism from other sailboats to the biggest cruise ships I've ever seen. Tallest flagpole in Mexico or in Baja, Grant? I think one or the other.
Probably. Anita?
How much?
It's 250 pesos for 1 kilo.
Wow! We arrived at Ensenada to find a tip on our boat, which means a previous owner didn't exit the country properly when they entered Mexico. We were stressed to hear this news after working so hard to make it this far. Luckily, Baja Naval worked with us, and Grant had to exit the country and enter again the following 2 days to properly attain a new tip. During this time, I hung back at the local coffee shop with my friend Cariana. It was a stressful few days with very little footage taken, but we eventually got our tip and entered the country properly, and then we went out to celebrate.
Like right here, like right in between the two.
Wait, hang on.
You gotta get in it too.
Okay. Usong's Cantina also claims to have been the site of the margarita creation in Ensenada in 1941. Bartender Don Carlos Orozco reputedly named a new drink after the Mexican-German patron Margarita Enkel Cesena, a frequent customer to this cantina.
So quiet. Are you filming? Yes.
Last day in Ensenada, we think. And then we're gonna head to Isla Todos Santos, but I just looked out the window and this is my view. It's like a Disney Magic cruise ship. It's huge. Like the size of that compared to, excuse me, makes Mundial feel small. Sorry, how many nautical miles or just miles?
From here to here?
Yeah.
I think it's 85 nautical miles.
Okay. As neat and beautiful as this port city was, it was also costing approximately $95 a night for slip fees because there was no anchorage nearby to anchor for free. So that fact, plus the eagerness and excitement to head further south, meant that it was time to get the cruising guides out and decide where to go next. Okay, let me check the weather. Moss?
Let's just start down from like the closest option, and then we'll look to the next one. So the first option is the Isla Todos Santos, which is the islands we went by.
And there's surf there,
Here.
typically. Yeah. And that's usually how it goes. We sit down with the cruising guides and read about the anchorages, look at the map to verify, and at the same time, and even before then, we make sure we have a big picture of the weather. Would this anchorage be good if northwest winds picked up? Or what about strong winds and if a south swell was coming? It's a lot of factors to juggle, and sometimes we don't always make the right decision. But we try our best, and always err on the side of caution.
So this book just talks about, as far as the anchoring over here, they talk about anchoring out here in 10 fathoms, which is kind of in between. But this book talks...
Turns out the cruising guides aren't always as accurate as reality. For example, Grant and I are discussing the different anchorages approach, and one book says it's completely safe and easy to anchor with no fish pens, and the other book says there are so many fish pens that there's no more anchorage. Well, let's see how we do. Thanks for watching. It's time to leave Ensenada, and the wind just picked up. It's gotta be like over 10 knots, so leaving this slip might be a little tricky because the wind is wanting to blow us into the dock. And yeah, this place has kind of got like a mysterious, dark kind of vibe. There's just like seals staring at you from every angle. It's kind of creepy. That is a huge sea lion. You can't see, but there's a ton of fish pens all over on this side. Dogs are like, what is going on? They're up at the bow waiting for some seals to pop up. Thank God we got here before dark.
Yeah.
It looks kind of gnarly.
It looks super cool in here.
Yeah.
Might be a little loud with the sea lions.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing we're not used to.
Morro Bay's trained us well.
Yeah, so what's the name?